The year of the dragon was approaching, and my 53-year-old mother-in-law, Queenie, was also preparing to give birth to a dragon baby. As young people say, if the main account is ruined, you train a sub-account, lest you grow old with no one to care for you. After Jaden and I got married, he always stood by me. His mother would often imply that she had raised her son for me, all for naught. So she wanted to have a dragon child, blessed, filial, obedient, and capable of reaching great heights overnight, replacing her unfilial son, Jaden. Well, if she wants to give birth, she can. I won't meddle as I did in my previous life. Queenie announced at the dinner table that she would have a dragon baby next year. The year of the dragon was still about a year away, so preparing now was perfectly timely. She said this with a smug look directed at Jaden and me. "Jaden," she said, "don't you two worry. We have money, we'll raise this baby ourselves. You don't need to be concerned. As for you and Selena, whether you want to have children or not, we won't interfere and we don't have time to interfere." As if seeking affirmation, she patted father-in-law on the shoulder. He merely nodded, eating and drinking without a word. Jaden looked genuinely surprised and worried. "Mother, you're this old, and you still suffer from postpartum complications. Giving birth now would put immense pressure on your body." Queenie immediately bristled. "You still remember my postpartum complications? If it weren't for you, would I have all these illnesses? And what was the result? The older you get, the more unfilial you become. It truly was useless raising you. I wish I had never given birth to you." Jaden was stunned, falling silent, unsure how to retort. I coldly glanced at father-in-law, a man who rarely spoke at home and seemed harmless. What caused those postpartum complications? He was the one who knew best. Back then, father-in-law had an affair while mother-in-law was in confinement, then washed his hands of all responsibility. Queenie, unable to fault her own mother or control her husband, grew sick with anger and exhaustion, leading to numerous ailments. She herself didn't have a good husband or mother-in-law, so she wanted to control her son, and once he married, she'd assert herself as the mother-in-law. But Jaden was not like his father. He distinguished right from wrong, was neither foolishly filial nor a complete fool. Every time Queenie caused trouble, he always sided with me, logically refuting her. This made Queenie hate us to death, believing she had raised her son for nothing and that I was instigating him. And father-in-law, all these years, he seemed honest at home, but in reality, he shirked all responsibility, only caring about eating and drinking his fill. Yet, Queenie didn't resent him. She blamed all her woes on her son. I pulled Jaden back as he was about to speak again. "Husband, don't say anything more. Mother and father both said they don't need us to worry. We can't interfere with the elderly's desires. If she wants to give birth, let her." In my previous life, we had tried to dissuade Queenie. She was actually afraid of labor pain, but in the end, when she couldn't get pregnant, she blamed everything on me. She accused me of monopolizing her only son, of preventing her from asserting her authority as a mother-in-law. She accused me of stopping her from having another filial and noble dragon child. She even tried to push me off a building, wanting me to die to atone for my sins. I fought back desperately, and we both fell. The pain of my bones shattering, my body breaking, I still remember it clearly even now, reborn. This time, if she wants to give birth, let her. Let's see what genius prodigy they manage to produce. Leaving my in-laws' house, Jaden was still very confused, wanting to go back and try to persuade them again. It wasn't convenient for me to talk about my rebirth, so I could only ask, "Do you think that once they've made up their minds, you can truly stop them?" From childhood, Jaden hadn't lived an easy life. Father-in-law made money but was selfish, only caring for himself, never others. Queenie was filled with resentment, complaining about this and that, but she couldn't escape the quagmire of her failed marriage. So she dumped all her life's suffering onto her only son. "If it weren't for you, we would have divorced long ago. Do you know how much hardship and humiliation I endured to raise you all these years? I raised you for so many years. All I wanted was to enjoy the blessings of my children and grandchildren. Look at you, you have a wife and forget your mother. Do I even exist in your heart? I can't go on living. What's the point of enduring so much suffering to raise you this big? It all goes to outsiders." These were Queenie's frequent lines. Jaden heard them from childhood, from initial guilt and self-doubt to eventually being fed up, then back to guilt and pain. He wanted to distance himself from his parents, but was so affected by his family of origin that he couldn't. "I know you've suffered even more than I have all these years," I said. Jaden gave a bitter laugh. "If they really can have a child, maybe they can truly have a child who is more obedient than me." I stroked his hand. Whether children are good or not in their parents' hearts largely depends on how the parents perceive them. It's not your fault. Moreover, don't worry, they are this old, and their health isn't good. It's not even certain if they can get pregnant. What I didn't say was that getting pregnant wasn't that easy. Many young people struggle to conceive, let alone my in-laws with their age and health conditions. Father-in-law was a philanderer in his youth, his health already depleted and not good to begin with. Queenie, on the other hand, was full of grievances, always complaining and making a fuss, so her constitution was also not stable. If they could truly have a child, they would have had a second 1 year ago. Why wait until today? Having a child was just another way Queenie found to cause trouble. From that day on, Queenie began daily posts in the family group chat about the virtues of dragon babies. She talked about preparing for pregnancy. On her personal page, she constantly posted tips for pre-pregnancy and the benefits of dragon babies. Dragon babies were said to be blessed, a powerful zodiac sign, destined for a bright future. They had good temperaments, blessed families with harmony, and were celestial dragons descended to Earth. She even claimed dragon babies brought great fortune, helping parents stay healthy and live long lives. She talked endlessly, as if the child wasn't a human being but a wish-granting jar. Could giving birth with such intentions truly make things better? Some nosy relatives, eager to stir up trouble, encouraged her in the comments. "Dragon babies are indeed good, the elders always say so. Queenie, should we listen to thousands of years of wisdom? We've always said you should have another child. Jaden alone isn't enough. You have a second child, and Jaden can have children too, 2 children to care for together." Exactly. Little Chew and his nephew growing up together will have a great bond. "You're older now, Jaden will surely take care of his younger brother, right?" These relatives were truly brazen, already calculating how we should raise my in-law's child. Whoever wants to raise them can, we certainly don't care. My mother-in-law commented sarcastically, "How dare I rely on them? This son of mine is as good as useless, raised only for others. He forgets his mother the moment he has a wife. If it weren't for wanting a better safety net in old age, I wouldn't even think about having another child at this age." Her words were a complete smear against Jaden and me. A relative asked, "You're this old and having another child, you won't have much time or energy to raise them. Aren't you afraid the second child will also be disobedient or even more rebellious?" Queenie boasted proudly to everyone, "I've checked. Dragon babies are the most capable, the most obedient and understanding, and the most filial of all zodiac signs. Moreover, it matches our age. This child will definitely have a brighter future than the older one." She shared a series of benefits of dragon children, talking endlessly. Some people, duped by her, started going home and urging their daughters-in-law to have children. I showed these posts to my best friend. She scoffed, "My younger sister is also a dragon baby, she's certainly adorable. But she just graduated this year, and her monthly salary isn't enough to cover her expenses." I still bought her new clothes and snacks for Tet. If one zodiac sign can decide everything, what about the other signs? Should they all just give up and dump everything on the dragon babies? The pressure on dragon babies would be huge. Jaden couldn't refute Queenie's slander. At family gatherings, some self-righteous relatives would scold him. "You can't just marry a wife and forget your mother. Your mother worked so hard to raise you." Exactly. A wife can be replaced, but a mother is one of a kind. You can't be so ungrateful. After a few such incidents, Jaden stopped attending. He thought, let them say what they want, it has nothing to do with me. Despite saying that, he was still uneasy. Children who don't receive love from their parents in their original family are always both angry at their parents' unfairness and desperate for their attention and affection. It's a very contradictory and painful state. I suggested a few tricks to him. Every time you visit your parents, help them change light bulbs, fix plumbing, do chores, buy gifts, take photos and videos of everything and post them in the family group chat. You have to be this ostentatious. You have to shut your in-laws up. The relatives in the group chat were full of praise, saying how good a son my in-laws had, how happy they must be. Over time, some of his cousins couldn't stand it anymore. "Jaden, can you stop being so competitive?" "Exactly, it's enough for you to be filial. Stop posting in the group, please." Because Jaden was *2*filial, other relatives grew jealous and went home to scold their own sons, making them incredibly annoyed. Everyone was busy, some couldn't even support themselves and had to rely on their parents for subsidies. Who could keep up with such a display? Jaden ignored them. "Then you all manage your parents well. Tell them not to keep nagging and calling me unfilial all the time. It's precisely because your parents are gossiping outside that we're fighting back. If you can't stand it, then go home and control your own parents." This method had some effect. Soon after, those older relatives no longer sided with my in-laws. Their minds were clearer than Queenie and father-in-law. They knew that no matter how good outsiders, joyful news might be, it wasn't as important as their own sons. They still had to rely on their sons for their old age. Jaden hugged me and laughed. "Wife, you're still the most powerful." I smiled back at him. In my previous life, after I died, my husband was also in great pain and guilt. He remained unmarried for many years, sold our wedding home, and moved to the district where my parents lived to work and live. He treated my parents like his own, caring for them until the end of their lives. This was something I hadn't expected, and I was very grateful to him. In this life, I would live well, and our lives would also be good. I began to use some experiences from my previous life, avoiding certain investment risks and helping my husband and myself steer clear of some work problems. Our money grew, and we even had enough to travel. Reborn, this was what made me happiest. With money, everything was joyful. It was a pity I didn't buy lottery tickets. I couldn't remember the winning jackpot numbers. Otherwise, we could have become rich overnight and lived completely carefree. Things weren't going so well for my in-laws. Queenie was actively preparing for pregnancy, taking it very seriously. She exercised daily, ate many supplements, and even calculated the best time for conception. She was determined to have a child whose zodiac sign and Bazzi, 8 characters of birth, matched hers. The result? After a month of exercise, she fainted from consuming too many supplements, exercising too intensely, and eating some random things that her body couldn't absorb. Father-in-law completely ignored her, calling us to care for Queenie in the hospital. Jaden wouldn't let me go, he went himself. "If you go, she'll definitely cause trouble. I'll go. I'm her biological son, I deserve to suffer." He was there for 3 days. When I visited him at the hospital, Queenie looked rosy and healthy, while Jaden was thin and haggard. Queenie even sat on the bed, imperiously ordering Jaden around. "Go fetch water to wipe me down, mother. I haven't showered all day, I feel so dirty. Have you washed those clothes? You didn't wash or cut this fruit properly, how am I supposed to eat it?" I was furious, having never seen a mother like this. I was so angry I wanted to drag Jaden home immediately. I couldn't bear this rage, but my mother pulled me back. "You're the daughter-in-law. If you argue with her, people will gossip behind your back. I'm her in-law, I'll go." My mother came to visit me. Hearing that her in-law was sick, it was customary to visit. Who knew she would encounter this situation? My mother was an excellent arguer. In my previous life, after my death, she couldn't bear the shock, her spirit gradually declined, and she passed away not long after. It was Jaden who arranged their funerals. She always treated Jaden like her own son. As for my in-law's behavior, she always held contempt, unable to believe how anyone could treat their own child like that. My mother spoke up sarcastically. "Oh dear sister-in-law, I'm so late. You're almost gone and I'm only just arriving. Please don't blame me. Oh sister-in-law, you suffer so much, so young yet already bedridden, unable to move. It pains me to see. Oh sister-in-law, why did you leave so soon? I can't bear it. What will Jaden and Selena do without you?" She hugged Queenie and wept, crying so much that Queenie and the others in the room were bewildered. Some even looked on eagerly, enjoying the drama. I pulled Jaden aside, telling him to play along. Queenie angrily tried to push my mother away, but couldn't. "What are you crying for? I'm not dead. I'm alive and well right here. What are you crying for?" My mother wasn't pushed away, she held onto the bed. "Don't say that, sister. Look at you, only in your 50s, lying here unable to move. Look at Jaden's face, he's so exhausted. If you're truly fine, why does he look like that?" Everyone in the room looked at Jaden and indeed saw him looking tired, pale, and worn out as if he was on the verge of collapsing. Then they looked back at Queenie, whose face was rosy, skin plump, looking even healthier than Jaden. If they didn't know, they might have thought Jaden was the patient, and a critically ill one at that. Queenie's face turned purple with rage. I'm perfectly healthy. He doesn't exercise, stays up late scrolling on his phone all day. That's why he's tired. I told him not to play on his phone. As she spoke, her phone vibrated continuously with incoming messages. Who was getting calls? It was clear enough. In a hospital, gossip was plentiful. Some even spoke directly to Queenie. This boy is truly filial, taking care of his mother alone. Look how tired he is, while his mother is perfectly fine, ordering her son around like a servant. How cruel, haven't you heard? She's preparing for pregnancy, wants a second child, and dislikes the elder one. That's why she orders him around like that. Oh my God, at this age, still having a second child. Is she insane? This was the common thought among everyone in the room. They looked at Queenie with curious eyes. She immediately flew into a rage, standing on the bed and scolding everyone in the room. What do you all know? Next year is the year of the dragon. This older son of mine is unfilial, disobedient, and has no future. What good is he, earning a measly starvation wage all day? I'm doing this for his own good. I want to give him a dragon brother. When his younger brother succeeds in the future and has a better life, he can also remind him. No one in the room believed her words. People weren't stupid enough to believe that. Moreover, everyone could clearly see how filial Jaden was. It was just this woman causing trouble. Tusk, at this age, she can still do it. Queenie pointed at everyone in the room and cursed them for a long time. The other patients, who were not tolerating her, argued back, and the argument escalated into a fight. She grabbed a patient and hit them, hitting them so hard they almost needed emergency care. Afterwards, she was taken away by the police for assault and expelled from the hospital. The other patients all said that if she dared to return, they would complain every single day. Queenie was also the type to bully the weak and fear the strong. Scolded by the entire hospital room, she didn't dare to return, but she wasn't appeased. She grabbed Jaden and cursed him. Do you want to make me lose face? How could I have given birth to something like you? You might not look good to me now, but I don't care. Wait until my dragon child grows up, I'll have them deal with you. The matter was far from settled, and she was already asserting her authority. Jaden was so tired and sore, he didn't have the energy to pay attention to her. Come on, wake up, mother. Try your best and hurry up to have a dragon child with a bright future. I'll wait for them to remind me. Remind me of what? We don't even know if there will be one. But when he got home, he still sighed to me, unable to help but complain. Why do I have a mother like this? Why isn't my mother like yours? His mother's love for him wasn't even as clear as my mother's love for me. I massaged him and comforted him. It's okay if we don't receive their love, we don't even care. We must remember this lesson and never become parents like that. The pain the previous generation inflicted on you may never completely fade. We can't escape the past. The only thing we can do is not pass this pain on. Jaden hugged me and said, "Let us have a child too. I will definitely be a good father so our child can feel the warmth of family and feel that it's good to have us as parents in this world." This was indeed a good idea. Anyway, I intended to have children, so I would just let nature take its course. There was no reason to refuse, but we unanimously decided that if I truly got pregnant, we absolutely would not let my in-laws know. When the time came, we would either hire a monthly helper and nanny or ask my parents to come and help. After all, we couldn't expect anything from my in-laws. Stirred by the hospital fight, after Queenie was discharged, her desire to have a dragon child became even more intense. She believed that others looked down on her because she didn't have a promising, filial son who always stood by her. As long as she could have a dragon child, 18 years later, when the child grew up, she could finally be smug. She stopped eating those supplements but started dragging father-in-law to exercise with her. People said that having children wasn't a one-person job. Both parents had to prepare. Come dance in the square with me? Running was no longer an option for them. They could only do some square dancing for exercise. Father-in-law didn't want to go, but Queenie threw a tantrum at home, wailing and crying. You only remember those promiscuous women outside. You don't want me to be well. If it weren't for you back then, I wouldn't have given birth to such an unfilial son. I'm just trying to secure a fallback for the two of us. We can't rely on the older one, so we have to rely on this little one. Father-in-law, left with no choice, gave in for the first time and went square dancing. After 2 days, he fell for some of the middle-aged women dancing in the square. Father-in-law had been very promiscuous when he was young, having affairs and many lovers. Queenie had dragged Jaden to catch him in the act several times, crying miserably, even threatening to jump off a building, yet she still adamantly refused to divorce. Jaden had even advised them to divorce, saying he would support Queenie, but she refused, always calling Jaden unfilial and deliberately instigating her. "You just don't want me to be well, and you're even advising me to divorce. How can you be so vicious? I've never seen a child as wicked as you. What kind of demon are you? Why don't you just die?" After being scolded like that, Jaden stopped trying to persuade them, letting them live as they pleased. This time, father-in-law caused trouble again, and it became known to several surrounding communities. The two of them were pointed at and even directly confronted when they went out. Queenie found out, furiously threw down her vegetable basket, ran to the square, and encountered the other old man catching his wife in the act. The four of them fought. The other couple was younger than my in-laws and beat them. The commotion eventually reached the police station, but the other couple also provided evidence that father-in-law had seduced his wife. This made things even more shameful. The police, though accustomed to many strange cases, were quite at a loss with this one. What was this all about? When Jaden arrived to pick them up, he remained silent for a long time. His biological father at this age was still having affairs. His biological mother, knowing about it, still adamantly refused to divorce, only scolding the other woman for seducing her husband without any resentment towards her own husband. This worldview, this way of acting and attitude, made him extremely tired. He felt that he and his parents simply could not communicate. The ideological gap between them was wider than the ocean. "From now on, you two take care of yourselves. Mother, don't have any more dragon children. Don't let your child be born only for father to already have a love child." These were Jaden's sincere thoughts for her and his final piece of advice, but Queenie misunderstood. "You still don't want me to be well? When I get pregnant with the dragon child, how can your father still have affairs? It's all those old vixen outside seducing him. They only see that your father makes money, they covet his money, that's why they come to seduce him. Don't think I don't know what those vixen outside are thinking." She stroked her belly, her face filled with longing and infatuation. "The fortune teller calculated it all for me, saying this child will not only have a bright future but will also bring harmony to the family, bless the parents with a happy and smooth marriage, unlike you." Her great expectations for a child who hadn't even appeared yet, combined with such blatant disdain for Jaden, made him utterly unable to accept it. "Fine, suit yourselves." Jaden returned home and immediately discussed with me, "Let's move. Let's move somewhere far away to the district where your parents live. My parents are in this city, I can't stay here anymore." In my previous life, after Queenie pushed me off the building and we both died, he didn't want to face father-in-law either, so he moved to my parents' district. I also wanted to be closer to my parents, so I agreed to his suggestion. Queenie and father-in-law found out we were moving and scolded us fiercely. Jaden no longer cared. "Aren't you two hoping for that dragon child? Then wait for it. When it's born, your family will be perfect, and it will save me from disrupting your happy family of 3. Perhaps our moving agitated Queenie, making her even more stubborn about having a dragon child. "Just you wait. When my dragon child is born, they will definitely have a bright future. By then, you won't be able to come and take advantage. All right then, I wish you success." After we moved, more than half of the year of the rabbit had passed, but Queenie still wasn't pregnant. She began to get anxious. In my previous life, she hadn't been pregnant at this point either, but seeing many relatives announce their joyful pregnancies, preparing for a dragon baby next year, she grew anxious and complained. "It's because of you two interfering that I'm not pregnant now, about to give birth to a dragon child. Your father wouldn't be out philandering either. You two just don't want me to be well. People in their 60s and 70s can still have children. I'm only in my 50s, why can't I? You two truly have wicked hearts, afraid of a younger brother competing for your inheritance. You really think too much. My dragon child alone can earn hundreds of millions. Why would they care about that little bit of money? Besides, you're so unfilial, we'd rather throw our money away than give it to you." Her words were truly harsh, almost daily cursing us. Finally, she even cursed us to the point of wanting to drag me to jump off a building. This time, without us interfering, she still wasn't pregnant. Seeing that she was running out of time to have a dragon child, Queenie became desperate. She went to the hospital for IVF, but she was old and had already given birth once. The doctors all advised against it. It wouldn't be good for her health. She likely wouldn't even be able to endure the initial preparation stage. She shouldn't do it. The doctors sincerely advised her, not wanting anything to happen to her at the hospital, but she refused to listen, insisting on doing it. IVF was very expensive, but she was determined, even planning to mortgage the house. I wouldn't allow it, so she threw a tantrum, wailing and crying, saying she wanted to drag me to die with her and expose things from my youth to ruin my reputation. Father-in-law called Jaden, his voice filled with weariness and impatience, telling him to come home for Tet to dissuade her. Previously, Queenie had always tormented Jaden alone, using all her tantrum-throwing tactics on her only son. After I came along, she started using those tactics on me. Now that we had both escaped, she had no one to torment but father-in-law alone. Father-in-law used to be like a boss who washed his hands of everything, not worrying about anything. His wife tormented others, not him. He didn't care. As for his son, raising a child wasn't a man's job. What did it have to do with him? He was a grown man earning money to support the family. Wasn't that enough? Hadn't he worked hard enough? He just went out to play a bit more. Many men did that. What was the big deal? What did he have to be ashamed of? Now, Queenie could only torment him alone, and he finally felt the pain, hoping to push this trouble onto us. We certainly weren't going back to accept it. Didn't Queenie say not to let us take advantage, so we wouldn't go and take advantage? I found an excuse to share an article on my personal page about the differences between the dragon and rat zodiac signs. Jaden and I happen to belong to these two signs, and our birth months also happen to be different. So, when we said we wanted to go back to our hometown for Tet, Queenie exploded, forbidding us to return. It's all because you two are different that I couldn't get pregnant with a dragon child. Go far away, the farther the better. Don't come back for Tet, don't even call. She was almost insane from her obsession with having a dragon child. Not coming back suited us perfectly. Actually, I had asked a media friend to write that article. It was entirely tailor-made. Queenie was already out of her mind. It would have been strange if she hadn't fallen for the trap. That year, celebrating Tet at my parents' house was the happiest Tet I had since getting married. There was no father-in-law lounging on the sofa all day doing nothing, imperiously ordering others around. There was no Queenie complaining while doing housework, demanding we do things while criticizing everything. It was just the four of us, cooking together, making bancheng, cleaning the house, and visiting nearby tourist areas, experiencing the bustling crowds. It was peaceful and beautiful. A few months after Tet, I found out I was pregnant. We weren't chasing a dragon baby, but this child came just as we wanted. My parents became even more anxious, telling us to move back in with them, wanting to take care of me from beginning to end. For this unborn child, we only hoped they would be healthy, happy, and grow up safely. At this time, there was news in the family group chat. Queenie was also pregnant. She was so happy she wanted to tell the whole world. In the family group chat, on short video platforms, and on her personal page, she posted the joyful news everywhere, accompanied by captions like "Dragon child about to descend," "Great fortune, great prosperity," and so on. The floral stickers looked like she was about to get married. She even called us to boast. "You two don't have the fortune to have a dragon child." Who told you to be unfilial? It's okay, your younger brother will take care of you later. Even though you two are heartless, my dragon child has the best temperament and will definitely not abandon you. By then, they'll just casually give you a little something, and it'll be enough for you to live on. When Jaden heard the phone call, he was both disappointed and angry, his cheeks puffed out. I placed his hand on my belly, and he immediately calmed down. He had his own child, was about to become a father, and couldn't carry this anger to the baby. But he also didn't take this opportunity to tell Queenie that I was pregnant. He knew his mother's temperament and was afraid she would come to our house and cause trouble out of jealousy. After Queenie finished boasting, she continued to show off on her personal page in various ways. Every day she chanted Buddhist scriptures, saying it was to pray for blessings, and even posted a daily nutritional menu for the dragon child. To further coordinate with the birth of this child, she even specifically sought a fortune teller to calculate a diet plan, eating according to it. She claimed this would make the dragon child healthier, stronger, and bring great fortune and abundant blessings. Jaden thought it was all nonsense. She was eating mostly starches, completely lacking nutrition. How could the child be healthy like that? He wanted to remind her, but he didn't want to call and get scolded. He could only get news from home through some cousins. Jaden, you don't know, your mother has gone crazy. Before getting pregnant, she even drank some charm water, water drawn with cinnabar ink. I think that baby might very likely be deformed. You should still try to convince her. Queenie's personal page indeed stated that she only succeeded in getting pregnant after drinking the blessing water given by the fortune teller. She even introduced the fortune teller and the blessing water on her page, claiming it was more effective than the hospital. The medicine prescribed by the hospital had no effect, but as soon as I drank the blessing water, I got pregnant immediately. You all should let your daughters-in-law try it too. She not only drank it herself, but also sold it to others. Soon after, she was arrested. A naive relative actually bought the charm water from Queenie and secretly gave it to his daughter-in-law to drink. As a result, the daughter-in-law got poisoned, was hospitalized, and needed emergency treatment. The son of that family, learning that his own mother had done this, threatened to cut ties. Can you stop being so superstitious? You dare to give anything to others to eat. Aren't you afraid of death? Why don't you drink it yourselves? You guys have a second child too, I don't care. That relative, afraid their son would no longer care for them, fearfully confessed everything, exposing Queenie. The police arrested Queenie, saying she was spreading superstitious beliefs, operating without a license, and poisoning others. The charges were very serious. She cried in the police station, clutching her belly, claiming she knew nothing. I drank it and I was fine. Why did something suddenly happen to her? She just doesn't have the fortune. She couldn't bear the blessing brought by the dragon child. The police were at a loss with her, calling both parties to resolve the matter. The other party didn't want Queenie to go to jail, as her going to jail wouldn't change anything, but they demanded a large sum in compensation. Queenie refused to pay, feigning death. The other party then said, "If you don't compensate, your dragon child will have to be born in jail." Queenie was startled and sobered up. Her dragon child couldn't be born in jail, it would be too unlucky. Father-in-law finally paid the money and took her home, and from then on, they couldn't hold their heads high among relatives. Who would dare to associate with them anymore? They sold charm papers that poisoned people. Oh my God, if they poisoned you, wouldn't you be scared? No one dared to meet or even eat with them anymore. Jaden didn't go back to deal with this matter. Hearing the news, he just felt helpless. Fortunately, that relative's daughter-in-law eventually recovered from emergency treatment. Otherwise, Queenie would have had blood on her hands. Because of this incident, father-in-law became even more distressed. Queenie started going out to philander again and also didn't like to come home. Queenie complained endlessly, posting messages in the family group chat and on her personal page. You people truly look down on others. Just wait until my dragon child is born and achieves great things. You'll all be begging me. She even learned how to livestream, promoting the virtues of dragon children online and even cursing us and the other relatives. She called us all blind, flattering superiors and despising inferiors, saying we would all get our comeuppance sooner or later. Some thoughtless people even applauded her, saying she was right, that the world was full of such petty people. Who was the petty person in question, really? But some rational people just waited to see her make a fool of herself. This woman sold charm papers that almost killed someone, and she still dares to scold others for being ungrateful. Have some shame. At this age, she's still desperately trying to have a child. Won't she still have to rely on her older son and daughter-in-law to raise it later? If the son and daughter-in-law refuse, she'll just curse them again. Having such a mother is truly suffocating. Queenie blocked all these rational comments. She learned a lot from live streaming for a long time, but her dragon child still ultimately didn't materialize. Jaden's prediction was spot on. Father-in-law's philandering outside truly resulted in a love child. He was very smug, believing he could still procreate and could make 2 women pregnant, showing how powerful he was. The other woman, around 40 years old, was only interested in father-in-law's money and house. She went directly to their home, saying she didn't need to marry him, but she had to have a house and $1 million. She would raise the baby herself. Queenie was live streaming at the time, proudly boasting to netizens who enjoyed her bragging. Let me tell you, having a dragon child brings harmony to the family and can even make your husband return home. You're all too late. Wait another 12 years to prepare. By then, you must seize the opportunity. If you can't seize the opportunity yourself, you must let your son and daughter-in-law seize it. Don't miss out again. It only happens once every 12 years. It's very difficult. As she spoke, father-in-law returned with his mistress. the mistress was still vibrant, holding her belly with a smug look. "I don't need much, just buy me a 120 square meter house and give me $1 million. I can raise this baby myself." Queenie looked at her, then at father-in-law. He let her get pregnant with a dragon child too? Her first reaction was this. Afterwards, this livestream clip was edited and went viral, topping trending lists. Netizens all commented, "Is this person crazy?" Her first reaction was this: "How deluded is she? She's been crazy from the beginning, completely unhinged." Queenie couldn't believe it, couldn't accept that the mistress was also having a dragon child, just like her. Even if the other party had a snake child, she wouldn't have been so agitated. But now, the other party was also giving birth in the year of the dragon. Wouldn't that steal the glory of her own dragon child? So, she grabbed the mistress by the hair and fought her. The scene was chaotic. One person hit the other, and the other hit back. Father-in-law stood aside, shouting noisily, not knowing how to intervene. It was the netizens watching the livestream who called the police. Both women were powerful fighters, battling from inside the house out into the yard. Father-in-law was pushed down the stairs, and Queenie fared no better. She bled profusely on the spot and was rushed to the hospital unconscious. My dragon child, you must save it, put it in the incubator." Even now, she only wanted to save that baby, believing that with this child, everything would be different. But the doctor's words were harsh. "Your baby has had no heartbeat for a long time and also has congenital deformities. Didn't you have prenatal checkups? Didn't you know?" Queenie hated that the doctors kept forcing her to eat nutritious food and pressured her to take hormone injections to maintain the pregnancy, threatening to let the baby go if she didn't comply. She believed the doctors wanted to harm her and refused to go for checkups. Therefore, she didn't know that the child in her womb was deformed, nor that it had had no heartbeat for a long time. Even if she hadn't been beaten and hospitalized, she would have miscarried soon. In the end, she lost her uterus and nearly died herself. Lying on the hospital bed, she still screamed at the doctors, "Where is my dragon child? You killed my dragon child. You did it on purpose. You're jealous of me." The doctors ignored her, giving me and Jaden various instructions on what to pay attention to. The police also came to find her. According to surveillance camera footage, she herself had pushed father-in-law down the stairs. Father is dead. While mother was in surgery, father didn't make it. Father-in-law's health was not good. He fell down the stairs, hit his head, and passed away quickly. Jaden and I returned to deal with these matters. As for the mistress, she was the least injured, but she also lost her baby and quickly slipped away from the hospital. She was afraid the police would arrest her, and also afraid Jaden would pursue legal responsibility. We had no time to pay attention to her. Queenie alone in the hospital was enough trouble. She constantly repeated that she had given birth to a dragon child. "My dragon child is obedient and compliant and knows how to make money. My husband no longer cheats and my son listens. Our family is doing very well. It must be you people. You hid my child. You won't give it to me, so I'll go find it myself. This is my dragon child. It's my dragon child." She hadn't even managed to snatch the baby before she was held back and beaten by the baby's family. At that moment, all the mothers and their families in the hospital were terrified, afraid their children would be stolen. Everyone ganged up and gave her a severe beating. The situation was chaotic. There were too many people, so no one was eventually identified as hitting the hardest. But Queenie's actions were indeed attempted child abduction, which people considered self-defense. Finally, she died in the hospital. Even in death, she refused to look at Jaden. "Raising a thing like you is worse than not raising anything at all. You stole the blessings of my dragon child. Why aren't you the one who died?" Jaden crouched by the hospital bed, his face grim, his heart pierced as if by a knife. I walked over and stroked his belly to show him. "Didn't you want a dragon child? Look, this is it. It'll be born in a few months. The obedient, adorable dragon child you didn't have, I have one." When Queenie died, it could be said she died with her eyes wide open, unwilling in pain, and filled with resentment towards me. Her whole life was a muddle. She never truly understood who the most hateful person was. Her life was messed up by her husband and by herself. It couldn't be blamed on Jaden at all. If a marital life isn't smooth, why blame it on the children? Even if she truly gave birth to a dragon child for herself, could that child be happy? A child not yet born, burdened with all the mother's hopes and expectations, how happy could they truly be? 5 months later, our child was born a month late. This was a slow-moving little imp who should have been born at the end of the year of the dragon, but instead deliberately prolonged its stay until after the Lunar New Year before slowly emerging. I asked Jaden, "Do you regret it? It's not a dragon, child." Jaden held our little imp, his heart full of contentment. What is there to regret? The child is healthy and beautiful. Look, big eyes, delicate skin, so adorable. This is truly our child, born by you, my wife. I can't love him enough, why would I complain? So, what zodiac sign the child belongs to isn't important at all. Being happy and healthy is above everything.